So Gareth Southgate has had an avalanche of players pull out of the squad. If I look down now, Kane, Winks, Ali, Henderson, Sterling. Now, if you're him, are you thinking this is adversity or are you thinking this is opportunity?
Opportunity. Look, he's even with the call-up of this squad now, he's not shy on bringing in players who've never been involved before. Yeah, of course, you would have liked those players, but at the same time, it's OK. Let's bring in some more players that who were never going to be in, and well, not to say never going to be in, because you don't know with Gareth Southgate and how he picks his squads. But at the same time, give other players a chance who you feel might be able to, well, might put themselves in contention in the next few months to go to a World Cup.
Jack Cork's an interesting one, isn't it?
It is an interesting one. It caught me a little bit off guard. I have worked with him before. Great lad, works very hard, and he's one of those. You could just see just by working with him, he wakes up every day to try and be the best he can be. So I'm sure he's been with Gareth Southgate at a younger age group, and that's probably, look, like a lot of the young players he has picked, he has worked with, so he knows them as players as well as people. And look,
I think it's good.
I think it's not a bad choice.
It gives from the younger people, the younger players, there is a pathway now through to the thing. But I do think there will be a hint of disappointment from Gareth because he's lined up two strong teams.
Very strong.
Strong. And, you know, they cruise through the qualifying, let's have it right. It would be a good benchmark to see where they're actually at. I know it's not the be-in and end-all because before the Euros, they had a great comeback win in Berlin against Germany, and remember what happened there. But I do think he would like to have looked at his team against top opposition.
But it's also important, surely, because people say, oh, they're only friendlies. These are important fixtures for him to perhaps experiment with formation, experiment with players he wants to play, because he's probably only got, what, 5-6 games before the World Cup finals. Yeah,
and he's limited time. There's very few training sessions, as Craig will tell you. When you go away with international, you're learning in matches, and you know we all knew that England would qualify. It would be nice to see where they're actually at against a Germany, who are a fantastic team, and Brazil, which is another fantastic team. So yes, it's opportunity for the young lads. The other thing I would say in that these young lads, and Craig will tell you, whenever you are thrown in as a young player, you want good players. I'm not saying there isn't bad players around them in England, but experience to help you through. What you don't want to do is these players go in, have a bad game, they get absolutely crucified by the press telling them England no good, and it's a head of confidence.
I'd see that as a reverse, though, as well. I'd be like, do you know what, I got nothing to lose. If I don't play well against Brazil, what am I, the first player who hasn't played well against these? People are not expecting too much anyway, because it is Brazil or it is Germany. Why not? I got nothing to lose, let's go at them. Or for myself, just try something. I might actually play myself in contention here from being out of the cold, actually putting in a good performance against top opposition. If I could do it against these, it might give me an opportunity to go into a World Cup. So for me, I'd see it as nothing to lose, no fear whatsoever. Go out there and try and do something.
It does, does it seem an unusually large number of withdrawals and the fact that they're friendlies, or is it just coincidence?
There's been a lot of games lately. A lot of our players who have withdrawn from the squad have been involved in Champions League as well. So, you know, they have been at their limits.
They've all been involved, in fact.
Yeah, well, there you go. And especially with the Real Madrid game, because a lot of Spurs players there, that would have took a lot. And they've had a tough round of fixtures lately as well.
But it's the old club v country again, isn't it? At the end of the day, Gareth's lined up two strong opposition. He wants to try out things with his team, and Sixland pulled out. I think in terms of Harry Kane, I don't think that would be an issue. He'd definitely want to play if he wasn't injured. But it'd be interesting to see how many actually play of them six come their club when it gets back to the Premier League.
Well, Mauricio Pochettino said today he'll definitely be fit for the game against Arsenal.
Well, he certainly got that in early. But I think if Harry was definitely 100% fit, he'd want to play against them, because that's the type of boy that he is.
I wouldn't question any of those there. Yeah, I think they're all
the first game of the World Cup,
England.
if he's fit, Harry Kane's going to play. He's going to start. Yeah. Dele Alli's going to start. One or two others, maybe. But those two players, for me, they have to start. But like I said, I look at it as a rest period, and I know obviously they're not going to say this, but there's a load of games coming up now, and England, like,
what are you saying?
What I'm trying to say is, with the fixtures, with club, country, they're going to go into the tournament. It's going to be difficult for England to have a big impact on the tournament due to the fact of the games, unless you have a winter break. I know I keep saying it, I know we've been down this road. I just don't see England doing too much in the tournament unless sooner or later in the next years or the years to come.
So are you saying that half dozen are taking their winter break now?
I wouldn't say they're taking a winter break.
Is that what you're trying to say?
I would say they're having a few days off, yeah.
OK.
And rightly so.
OK. Let's go straight to our viewers' questions then. With the number of players dropping out of England's friendlies, should this November period have been left vacant for players to rest?
Well, there is a shout for that there. If that's
on the back
the
of
case.
what Craig's saying.
But if you're a manager and you ask Gareth Southgate,
he wouldn't want it. He can't have it.
He's going to want to have
He'd want to look.
that getting together, working with a team, seeing how they do against top opposition. You know, it just makes a mockery of it for me. And maybe I am old school, but to turn down your country, all right, there might be genuine injuries. But if your country calls you up and you're fit, you go, whether the manager's whispering in your ear. If a manager ever whispered in my ear and said, listen, you can't go and play for your country, I'd have told him where to go. And, you know...
But Steve, you put Champions League on top of that.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate that, Craig.
It's a different world as well at times for these players.
At the end of the day, Fabian Delph hasn't had a lot of football. You know what I mean, in the last year or two. Raheem Sterling, young player, 19.
Fabian went off. He was injured.
He's injured.
Yeah.
He's injured.
If they're all injured, then it's fine. It's not a problem.
I can't believe you two are doubting anybody. Anyway, right, Jack Powell. Is the only reason Joe Hart is getting picked for England because of what he has done for them rather than what he's done for his club?
It's a difficult one. Obviously, I respect Joe because he could have sat around at Man City, but he didn't. He wanted to go out, he went abroad, and now he's went to West Ham. He wants to play, he wants to prove that he still is the best goalkeeper. I think he's done reasonably well at West Ham at a difficult time, playing behind a very poor defence at the minute, very poor team. But you can't knock his desire to play.
I don't see anyone who's at this present moment who's better than Joe Hart for England at this present moment. And all the goalkeepers who are English, who are playing in the Premier League, are all struggling at this present moment, or in a relegation zone or just above it.
OK.
So there's not anyone standing out to
head and
take
shoulders
Joe Hart's
above it.
place. Yeah.